Good morning, YouTubers. This is ShallowCross Sports Network with Double A, bringing you a new show this morning, and we're gonna get right on into it. Good morning. This Double A again, bringing you a show. This is gonna be a TSU show. Just get you up to snuff on what's going on with the Tennessee State Big Blue Tigers. What's going on? Of course, they made a new hire after Eddie George left and went to Bowling Green, and that is Reggie Barlow, former NFL player, played at Alabama State, played wide receiver in the NFL, and he's coming from the DC Defenders, and of course. He's inheriting a program that had 46 players leave, and so he's got a big rebuild process that he has to contend with, and also just looking at what's going on this past week. They just had media days, and of course TSU's picked I think eighth in the league in the Big South OVC. And of course, I think Reggie Barlow with his staff is going to do a whole lot better. They brought in at least, I think I counted at least 36 or so players through the portal and through a regular recruiting of high school players. But anyway, I'm going to see if I can pull that up for you. Pull up their roster, but the roster is beginning to fill out a little bit for the Big Blue, and of course a lot of the freshmen have been added to the squad and to the roster here. Just looking at some of the freshmen that were brought in under Reggie Barlow, Snap Reed. Just looking at Kamani Cobbs, he was a transfer, and then of course Tyson Edwards, he's a transfer from Memphis. He's a wide receiver, and then let's look at the Brendan Hale. He's a transfer also from Southern Utah. Brock Montgomery, he's another wide receiver transfer. He's from Lebanon. Some of these kids are originally from the state of Tennessee, and he's from Lebanon, and he's transferring from UConn. Jalen Price was brought in. He's a junior college, Southwest Mississippi Junior College. Tyson Jefferson, he transferred in from Western Kentucky a year or so ago, so he's one of the holdovers from Eddie George. Just looking at here a few other players here down the road here. Caleb Reed, a freshman, he's part of the freshman class. Elijah Biffins, he's part of the freshman class. Mark Shanuda. Now he was brought in out of the University of Memphis, and he's from Mount Juliet, but he was brought in from I think doing the Eddie George area. Let's see, Forshay Gavin, freshman, Zachary Lee, freshman, Poki Picosa, freshman. These are all freshmen that Reggie Barlow was signed. Brandon Collins, freshman. Stephen Nelson, freshman. Darius Neals was here on the Eddie George regime. Let's see here. Breon Brown is another freshman. Anthony Smith was a holdover from the Eddie George regime, and of course Cameron Douglas is another holdover who was brought in, transfer from Tennessee from last year. He's going to provide some experience on the defensive line. Anthony Smith started at at guard or either tackle. I don't know that last year, but he's some players that was brought in the state. Jesse Igwe, he's another freshman, and he's actually transferring in from Gardner-Webb. Of course, Jabari Freeman, he was another holdover from the Eddie George regime, and he actually starts some games. KJ McCoo, he's a transfer in. He's out of Memphis originally, but he transferred in from Florida A&M. And Shamar Crawford's another transfer from MTSU. Let's see here. Christopher Barnett's a freshman. Robert Howe's a freshman. Joel Vanderpool Legetto, he's a freshman. Arlington Williams is a freshman. Jack Herb is a freshman. Parker Harden, he's a freshman that was brought in. And he's a highly rated player, I think. Jaden Guy's another freshman. Devon Slaughter's a freshman. L.J. Walker's a freshman. Justin Hughes is a freshman. Jason Holt is a holdover from the Eddie George regime, as well as Amari Southall. Michael Williams is another freshman. Terrence Dobson's a freshman that the Reggie Barlow regime brought in. Roman Mathis is another freshman brought in by them. Freshman Ryan Screen, and of course Jermaine Williams freshman. So just counting, there's a ton of freshmen in this class. He lost 46 players, and then just rounding out the coaching staff, head coach Reggie Barlow, offensive coordinator Shannon Harris, he just got in. He was the interim head coach of the DC Defenders in the UFL. And of course, Red Southern, everyone knows him. He's been at TSU 3 times, developed a lot of offensive linemen for the pros. And then they brought in Cedric Thornton as a defensive, as a linebacker coach. And he's going to be coaching the linebackers. And then, of course, Greg Williams is going to be the defensive coordinator. Defensive line coaches is Deion Harris. The wide receivers coach is Nick Andrews. And the special teams coordinator is Gerard Cruz. Tight ends coach is Eddie Woods. Eddie Woods is already out there beating the streets trying to get players for next year for 2026. And of course, safeties coach is Dexter Jackson. Running back coaches to be announced. Defensive analyst is Justin Hanna. Of course, the football support staff, Dusty Bennett, he stayed from the Eddie George regime. The football equipment manager is Grant Siroyer. Kevin Meshack, who's been around a while, had some time in the NFL as a scout, and then he's back and he's been at some of the Power 5 schools, or Power 4 now, helping with recruiting. He's the director of recruiting. Head equipment manager is Jeremy Taylor. He's been around TSU for a long time. And then, of course, Scott Hosoffel, he's a holdover from the Eddie George regime also. So that's just a little breakdown on what's going on with the coaching staff. And then just looking at the schedule, Tennessee State opens up with North Carolina A&T, and of course that's the first game. I think that's on August the 30th. That's at Nissan Stadium. Hopefully the parking will be updated and better than what it was last year, because they're building a new Titan Stadium across just beside the old Nissan Stadium. Of course, that won't be ready until 2027. But they open up with North Carolina A&T and Nissan at 3:30, and then that next week they're in Nashville again, and they got the powerhouse North Dakota State coming in. One of the strongest teams in the nationally in the FCS level. They're coming in to play TSU. So hopefully we'll see how Tennessee State fares against North Carolina A&T, and then we'll see what they're going to do against North Dakota State, which is going to be a tough game for them. And then they got Alabama A&M coming in to Nashville on the 13th of September. And then, of course, Tennessee Tech comes in. Tennessee Tech's picked to win the OVC in the OVC Media Days. And then they got Eastern Illinois. They have to go all the way up to Charleston, Illinois to play Eastern Illinois. And that'll be a tough game for TSU. And, of course, SEMO is always a tough game. They have to go to Cape Girardeau for that one. And then they had Howard coming in for homecoming on October the 18th. And we don't know, they beat Howard last year. So we just have to see how well Howard's going to be playing this year. And then after that, Western Illinois coming in, Lindenwood coming to Nissan also. These are October and November games. And of course, UT Martin, they got to go down to Martin. Tennessee State always has a hard time down at Martin. They've beaten Martin down there before, but they've always had a hard time playing down there. And then you got Gardner-Webb coming in on 15th of November. And then they close out the season with Charleston Southern in Charleston, South Carolina. Charleston Southern was picked to finish last in the Big South OVC. So that's what's going on with TSU on that aspect. Just looking at some players. I'm gonna go down through and evaluate the players that Tennessee State has picked up versus the ones that's actually out there on the roster, and get back with you on that in another show. But some other news pertaining to TSU. Coach Collins, the basketball coach, he left for a assistant coach job at at Memphis Grizzlies. So big step up for him. And of course, Tennessee State is still looking for a head coach. They have an interim coach. Have an interim coach there now. It's going to be sitting in for Coach Collins. And then I was trying to tell you about some players. Tennessee State's already gone out and signed some kids already. Some commits. I think Noah Gibson, Darren King, and Jeremiah Orr. They're all players that they recruited for 2026, and then of course some other news. DRC, former TSU Tiger great, he's going into to the Hall of Fame, Black College Football Hall of Fame. Don't know when. I don't know if it's this year or next year, but he's been elected into the Hall of Fame. And of course, that's a big deal for him. He's a great player at Tennessee State, played a long time in the NFL, and he comes back and forth to contribute and see what's going on with the Big Blue periodically over the years, and he'll probably be there for some of the games this year. The outlook, Coach Barlow's going to develop some players. He's going to get some guys out there and see what they made of right away, and to see what they can do. Play a lot of freshmen, and see how well they fare against OVC competition. But well, with that said, that's going to end this show. Hopefully I'll see you again with another TSU show down the road. Like I said, they open up on the 30th against North Carolina A&T. Don't know how good A&T is going to be this year, but I'll have some a pregame for you on all that. I'll preview all the games of all the schools that I support on this channel, and we'll see where they fare in that first game of the season. With that said, this is the ShallowCross Sports Network with the AA, and we'll see you on the next show.